So Iran is a double-dealing, lying, opportunistic power, yet they've hoodwinked all these anti-Zionists into worshiping them because Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said some mild critiques of Zionism, right? He mildly questioned the Holocaust. He didn't say anything serious about it. All he said about the Holocaust was that why should Palestinians pay the price for what Germans did? He barely even questioned it, right? He barely questioned it. He maybe questioned some of the numbers, right? But in the interviews that I saw, he just said, why should Palestinians pay the price for what Germans allegedly did? So it's you look at his analysis of it, it's purely just a pro-Muslim, pro-Arab take on it, right? Why should the Palestinians suffer for something Germans did? So he's fine if Germans are scapegoated and guilt-tripped and blamed and have to pay the price for this, but he's just upset that Arabs are getting the short end of the stick in Palestine for that reason. And I guarantee you, if those Palestinians were all Christians, or those Palestinians were all some other religion apart from Islam, these Muslims wouldn't give a flying fuck, would they? They wouldn't care. And they don't care. If you look at all these other conflicts around the world, they are not talking about them. They don't give a shit about any conflict unless it involves other Muslims, because they're tribalists. They basically put no value on life that's not Muslim. So these Muslims are frauds. They do not give a damn about human rights, and they're protesting the mistreatment of Palestinians. They don't give a shit. As long as, only if it's Muslims involved do they care, do they raise their voices. And it's the same with these people in the West. These Muslims have invaded our countries en masse as immigrants with the help of Jewish elites, and all they do is protest in favor of Palestine. They never protest the atrocities by Muslims against whites in Europe, right? The terrorism, the murders, the rapes, the gang rapes, the grooming gangs in England by Pakistanis. They don't protest that at all. They don't do anything because it's their people doing it, because they're tribalists, right? These people are tribalists. They only care about their own religious and ethnic group, yet they will call you a racist. They will call you a bigot if you oppose their immigration into our countries. They're trying to pull in their extended families into our countries so that they can take out a benefit of Western civilization. Yet at the same time, they cry about these wars in the Middle East and, oh, how evil the West is. Well, why the hell are you in the West, big boy? Why are you over here? Oh, because you know that the economy is good over here. You want to just suck on our economy, take what you can, send it over to terrorist groups over there who are carving out your little caliphate. Oh, I understand what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Guilt trip the white man for Zionist wars in the Middle East, which your own people collaborated in. Don't try to guilt trip our people. We know what you're up to, right? We know what these Arabs are up to in the Middle East. They were full collaborators with the United States and Israel in these various wars. You know, even in Afghanistan, you had the Northern Alliance. They were in bed with Bush. They were being funded by the CIA as opposition to the Taliban. So there's always elements in these nations that are for these wars. Even the Iraq War, you had a lot of the Shiites in Iraq. The Shiites hated Saddam Hussein and wanted to overthrow him, and they collaborated with the U.S. to do so. So why the fuck should we, white people in the West that had nothing to do with this war and probably opposed it, why should we feel guilty when your own damn people were collaborating and killing and doing the damn killing to overthrow your own government? So it's just pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic. We should have no guilt whatsoever for these wars. We didn't do it. It was basically Semites sucking us into their damn squabbles. Always the case, right? I was on Adam Green's show, and Adam Green, I told him that Jews are trying to pull us into their wars, but so are Arabs. And he's like, "Oh, I don't really know of any wars that the U.S. has been involved in for the interests of Arabs." Well, I said that Russia was primarily the one doing the bidding of Arabs in modern conflicts like in Syria, but historically, I can give you one example of the U.S. fighting a war for Arabs. That was Kuwait, 1990. Why did the U.S. fight against Iraq in 1990? That was because Saddam moved into Kuwait and was trying to take over Kuwait, and these rich oil barons, these billionaire princes, lobbied the U.S. Congress to intervene on the side of Kuwait. That's a perfect example of the U.S. siding with one group of Semites against another in a war, and white people went over there, white soldiers, American soldiers, fought and died, so these rich billionaire Arab oil barons can profit from it, right? For the interest of Semites, and perhaps some Americans who profited from it. We have to face the consequences of this.